more than ever before, I spoke about engagement. And when we talked about sort of executive engagement down with the teams, I think there's been a much greater frequency and intensity of engagement between boards and their companies as well through the pandemic. Initially around crisis management and just risk and compliance and so on and so forth. Also securing supply chains. In the early days, if you recall, in April and so on, April, May, just ensuring and securing your supply was important, keeping people safe. So you started with safety. First was employee health and safety, and not just your own employee health and safety, but that of your ecosystem, your vendors, your suppliers, your partners. Then going into enterprise security. So supply chain, cyber, and so on. And then it has been, okay, what does this mean? The best organizations and businesses and individuals are those that are not just resilient, but they're also very adaptive and agile. So when things changed, some things stopped being opportunities, but new opportunities come up. So spotting those opportunities and working with management to capture some of these new things, to pivot quickly if needed, to be agile. I think boards have engaged more frequently and with more intensity, as I mentioned. Governance is all about intentionality. We have the right codes. We've got plenty of codes in place now. And there are multiple gatekeepers of governance. So it's not just independent directors, right? It starts with your CEO and CFO, then with your auditors, internal auditors, external auditors, rating agencies, and boards. So when we see governance failures, there are governance failures at multiple levels, not just that of the board. I mean, in some ways, independent directors carry a very large burden, but have probably the least information.
True.
And so ultimately, governance is around intentionality. The independence is in the mind. I don't know how you can legislate independence. You can be on a board for 2 years and still not be quite independent in your thinking and thinking about stakeholders versus sort of promoter interest, if you will. You can be on a board for 10 years and still maintain a tremendous sort of independence of thought. I think there's an even greater recognition that board and management has to work like this together. An adversarial relationship is neither required nor desired. So they have to work together. But both of them have their roles. In a good functional board situation, see, if it's a dysfunctional board, then it's a different matter. But in a normal functional board, both have their roles. And both should work together. There is a mutual sort of challenge debate that should happen, which is good for the company. And at the same time, boards must support their management and not try and start to sort of run the company, if you will.